I love Jabba, sweet and hot. Whoop, Mr. Muscle, I'm a pumpkin spot.
Welcome to Fueled by Death Show. Hey, it's not just a podcast anymore. Get ready, the show's about to begin.
Whoops!
Aha! All
We were
right.
hiding.
I think that's going to be the only problem we have tonight. 'cause
Don't jinx it.
I'm pretty sure you guys can see us. Pretty sure you guys can hear us. And I'm pretty sure you guys are watching.
We're rocking and rolling.
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hello, Facebook. Hello, YouTube. And hello, Twitch.
Chicka chicka.
We are here, Fueled by Death Show, and we are live Wednesday night. We have a very special show for you tonight because it is the final show
Of the
2019
decade!
of 2019. It's the final show of the decade of the year. That's
Woo.
it. There's a bunch of changes coming in 2020, and we'll get to those a little bit later. And we're going to celebrate tonight with a bang. We've got some really fun stuff coming on the update. I'm going to give you guys a rundown of the next 3 podcasts because we're going to be off for the next 2 weeks because of Christmas and New Year's. And obviously the science segment as well. But before we get into all of that, if this is your first time joining the show, welcome. I am the Incredible Jeff.
And I am the mother of content.
Damn right you are.
Darn tootin' I am.
And we always give away something cool. And to kick off the end of an era, the end of this decade, and the end of Fueled by Death Show as you know it, ominous, we're giving away something really awesome.
We are. We're giving away 3 Fueled by Deathcast mugs.
Yeah.
And they will be signed by Jeff and I,
Yeah.
which is pretty dang too cool.
And all you got to do is what you're doing right now. Watch the show, join the show, share it if you can, whether you're on Facebook or Twitch or YouTube, and drop a comment in those comments. One lucky comment on each platform will win a Fueled by Deathcast mug, signed by Shannon and myself.
Heck yeah.
Heck yeah. We will announce in the comments of Facebook and Twitch as soon as we sign off. And on YouTube, we will announce your name right before we sign off
Pew pew pew.
because it unfortunately takes like a half a day for this to populate the comment. It's crazy. The YouTube live, as soon as we sign off, it's there. So you could watch it if you missed it or anything like that.
comments
But
are
the comments aren't there. I can't comment on the comments. It's
God
crazy.
damn it, YouTube.
It's crazy. So we're going to announce that live. Like I said, we got a lot to get to, so let's just jump right into it. First and foremost, I want to thank our good friend and the man who has been literally with this show almost even longer than me, which is crazy, Mr. Brock Powell.
Yay, Brock.
Brock Powell is the voice actor on everything we do here at Fueled by Deathcast and Fueled by Death Show, and also an incredible voice actor out in the world. Do you guys have Disney Plus? If you have Disney Plus, check out the show Milo Murphy's Law. Both seasons are available in full on Disney Plus, and Brock does a ton of voices on that show, along with someone you might have heard of, Weird Al Yankovic. I don't know if you've ever heard of him. Pretty awesome, and we love Brock to death. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff with him in 2020. And also, for being a fan of everything we do here, you guys get a special discount code.
Oh, they do.
What is it?
It is called the Mother of Content. Bloop. So use the code Mother of Content, all one word, at deathwishcoffee.com for 12% off your purchase. It's pretty great.
Yeah, 12% off your purchase. I mean, holiday season is right around the corner. Obviously, if you guys know, if you guys are in the United States, pretty much tomorrow is the cutoff day for getting your packages by Christmas. We'll get to that later on in the update as well. But there's options around that. You can always, pay for expedited shipping and all that kind of stuff. And why not pay for extra shipping if you're saving 12%, right?
True.
That could, if you buy a lot of it, it could actually pay, work out in the wash kind of thing. So we got all of that. And like I said, lots of changes coming up, lots of cool stuff to tell you tonight. But first, let's jump into, I know, one of your favorite segments and one of my favorite segments to put together. It's the science segment. For the last 6 weeks. I can't believe it was supposed to only be a 4-part series, and it turned into a 6-part series. It's actually the most episodic, most produced thing I've ever done with the science segment. It's the Humanity in Space series.
Space.
All 5 episodes, all 5 segments prior to this one are available on YouTube, also on our blog as well, and on the Facebook page. So you can find them all if you missed them. But this one is the final segment of our Humanity in Space series.
Of the decade.
And of the decade. You're going to keep saying that all the time.
Yes.
So here we go.
Science!
In the final installment of the Humanity in Space series, let's set our sights on the future and what that will bring for our continued presence in space. Space exploration actually went from science fiction to science fact in less than 75 years, and the leaps and bounds that we have made in science and technology is breathtaking. But where are we headed? Some ideas are about to become reality, and some have yet to become fully realized. The most widely known new project, and the current short-term goal of a continued space exploration, is the return to the moon. NASA has unveiled its plans for the Artemis program, which will begin with Artemis 1. Artemis 1 will be the second planned flight of the uncrewed Orion spacecraft to be launched on the recently tested Space Launch System, or SLS rocket. Artemis 1 is planned to launch in November of 2020 and will be the proving grounds for the same type of mission to occur with a crew. The mission parameters see the Orion spacecraft spending 3 weeks in space, including 6 days in a distant retrograde orbit around the moon. A distant retrograde orbit is a highly stable orbit trajectory that has been studied for decades but has never been utilized on an actual spaceflight. The Artemis program itself is very exciting in the size and scope of the project, as NASA looks to partner with U.S. commercial spaceflight companies, including Blue Origin and SpaceX, as well as the European Space Agency, the Japanese Space Exploration Agency, and the Canadian Space Agency. The goal is simple: to put the first woman and the next man on the moon by 2024, landing at the lunar South Pole with the idea of setting up a lunar base, something that has never been done before. The program will use the Orion multi-purpose crew vehicle to carry a crew of 4 astronauts into space. It will also be developing the Lunar Gateway Space Station, which will serve as a solar-powered communications hub, science laboratory, habitation module, and holding area for landers and rovers. The Gateway Station will assemble components in orbit around the moon in 2022 with a projected end date of 2028. The crew will be able to live on the station and ferry to and from the surface of the moon by 2024. The Artemis program has also unveiled new spacesuits with new technology and functionality, the XEMU for extravehicular activity and the OCSS for spacecraft flight. Both of these we covered in the first installment of this series. New crewed spacecraft and spacesuits are not just coming from NASA, though. SpaceX has unveiled its plans for a technologically advanced spacesuit, but at the time of this recording, much less info is released on this. Also, SpaceX and Boeing have developed new spacecraft to take astronauts to the stars. The Crew Dragon from SpaceX and the CST-100 from Boeing both are tested and will start testing crewed launches within the next few years. The SpaceX Starship is also being designed to bring cargo as well as passengers to space as a new reusable launch vehicle. This prototype, along with the smaller Star Hopper, could potentially be utilized for Earth-to-Moon transport and even Mars colonization and space tourism. Space tourism is actually about to become a really big deal, and soon anyone healthy enough with enough money to foot the bill will be able to take a trip to space. Actually, there have been technically 7 space tourists who have flown on the Soyuz spacecraft to the International Space Station. The first ever space tourist was actually Dennis Tito, the American engineer who spent 8 days on the ISS and paid a reported $20 million to do it. There has been a lot of criticism of non-astronauts flying and living on the space station, with good cause, as the people trained to be there do have multiple jobs to do, and it isn't a floating hotel. The idea of suborbital space tourism, therefore, is more widely accepted and can come at a much cheaper price tag. Richard Branson's company, Virgin Galactic, aims to be the first to offer regular suborbital space flights aboard its Spaceship Two spacecraft program. On December 13th, 2018, the VSS Unity made its first flight to space, proving the capability of the craft and the program, and the idea of space tourism begins to take a much more final form. I recently talked with one of the pilots of the VSS Unity, Mark Forger Stuckey, about flying that spacecraft into space and making history, and the future of taking passengers along with him. And I know that so much testing, preparation, everything going into the historic flight from December of last year with Unity, and you do it. You get there. You're in space. Do you get a moment in your head to process that? Or is it still just, I'm in it and I'm making sure everything's working, and do you get that moment, as a boy, wanting to fly and being able to connect full circle?
I did on the last flight, and I basically did that by almost writing it into the flight card. I'd done 3 powered flights on Enterprise, and people would say was the sky black? What would this? I never looked out the window.
right. You're focused.
I'm too busy.
Yeah.
Doing my test parts, looking at the displays, being exact. And but by the same token, I've seen cases of looking out the window and you screw up. So to me, one of the most realistic things about the movie The Right Stuff is that sense of whatever you do, don't screw the pooch. And that is true. I mean, I go out there, I'm not worried about living or dying. I'm worried about not screwing the pooch. And, you can't say, I'm going to repeat that test point, because now, a second later, you're a half a Mach faster. You're off those conditions, or else you're gliding and coming down real fast. So you really have to try to be exact and efficient and work really hard and not get sidetracked. But the beauty of the full duration, longer duration burns is that space is a timeout, so you can say, okay, if everything is good here, I'm going to take a look out the window and I'm going to say what comes to my mind. And so I had some of those moments, so I could look out the window and go, wow. Take a look at that horizon.
I mean, just seeing the footage of it, I'm just watching on YouTube in my house, and it's breathtaking. I can't imagine to be experiencing it like you did.
I really look forward to the operational flights. I enjoyed my time at United Airlines. I had plenty of test pilots tell me I was crazy and I was going to be bored. I like the challenge of trying to do a good flight and actually see smiling passengers get off the airplane at the end of the day. The difference now, though, is if you buy a ticket on Spaceship, you're buying a ticket because you want to go to space, not because you have to get to point B, and flying cuts a couple hours out of it, but you don't really want to fly. You want to be on that spaceship to fly, and the passengers are going to have an experience that's going to be incredible, and it's one that they want to have, and I really look forward to sharing that with them.
While being a space tourist on a working laboratory like the International Space Station does seem intrusive, I'm all for the casual trip to space. I'm never going to become a proper astronaut, but I would love to view the Earth from space one day. But what about some projects that have nothing to do with bringing humanity back to space, but just furthering our understanding of the universe that we live in? Breakthrough Starshot is a research and engineering project by the Breakthrough Initiatives to develop a proof-of-concept fleet of light-sail spacecraft named Starship. These light-sail spacecraft will be capable of making the journey to Alpha Centauri star system 4.37 light-years away. This project was founded in 2016 by venture capitalist and physicist Yuri Milner, Stephen Hawking, and Mark Zuckerberg. The project could cost upwards of $5 to $10 billion, and the first craft could feasibly be launched by 2036. Light sail technology, or solar sails, utilize propulsion from radiation pressure exerted by sunlight onto mirrors. While this seems like something out of science fiction, variations of this principle were used on the Mariner 10 mission, which flew by Mercury and Venus in the 1970s. In theory, ships utilizing this technology could supply bases across our solar system, but the Breakthrough Starshot aims to travel much, much farther. The idea is to launch a mothership containing 1,000 tiny spacecraft, each weighing only a few grams and a few centimeters in size. Then, a focused ground-based array of lasers would launch the tiny spacecraft at a speed of about 15 to 20% the speed of light, and they could reach Alpha Centauri in about 30 years. Equipped with cameras and other equipment, they could beam back the first images and data up close from another solar system. Looking towards Mars, NASA plans to send the Mars 2020 rover to investigate the surface geological processes and the assessment of the planet's past habitability. Was there ever really any form of life on Mars? The European Space Agency is sending the Rosalind Franklin rover, which will include multiple science applications as well as look at the current and past habitability of Mars. Even China, India, and the United Arab Emirates are all sending rovers as well to the Red Planet between 2020 and 2022, all with the goal of collecting more data on the geological makeup of the planet. All of this science being sent to Mars is in the hopes that humanity itself will step foot on the planet within possibly 15 years. The data from these rovers will be instrumental in creating bases on the Martian surface, as well as tools that humanity can use once they get there. As we look towards exploring the cosmos further, we're not just looking at the planets in our backyard or the solar system that we know. We're looking at the moons, the asteroids, and even the farthest reaches of space to really expand our knowledge of the universe. The Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, or JUICE, is an interplanetary spacecraft in development by the European Space Agency. This mission is being developed to visit the Jovian system, focused on studying 3 of Jupiter's Galilean moons: Ganymede, Callisto, and Europa. All of these moons are thought to have significant bodies of liquid water beneath their surfaces, making them potentially habitable environments. JUICE is set for launch in June of 2022 and would reach Jupiter in October of 2029. In 2033, the spacecraft should enter orbit around Ganymede for its close-up science mission and becoming the first spacecraft to orbit a moon other than the moon of Earth. The Origins Spectral Interpretation, Resource Identification, Security Regolith Explorer, or OSIRIS-REx, is a NASA asteroid study and sample return mission. The mission's main goal is to obtain a sample of at least 60 grams from Bennu, a carbonaceous near-Earth asteroid, and return the sample to Earth for a detailed analysis. The material returned is expected to enable scientists to learn more about the formation and evolution of our solar system, its initial stages of planet formation, and the source of organic compounds that led to the formation of life here on Earth. In December of 2018, the satellite reached the proximity of the asteroid, and it will continue to analyze the surface and perform closer and closer passes until March of 2021, gaining its samples and then returning to Earth in September of 2023. Lucy, part of NASA's Discovery program, is scheduled to launch in October of 2021 to explore 6 Trojan asteroids and a main belt asteroid. The 2 Trojan swarms of asteroids ahead of and behind Jupiter are thought to be dark bodies made of the same material as the outer planets that were pulled into orbit near Jupiter. Lucy will be the first mission to study the Trojans, and scientists hope the findings from this mission will revolutionize our knowledge of the formation of our solar system. These asteroids are actually ancient fossils of planet formation, which could hold clues to the origins of life on Earth. The biggest hurdle for the future of humanity in space is actually humanity itself, and how we as a species are going to be able to deal with things like vast distances and limited food and fuel and resources. As of July 2019, the Voyager 1 spacecraft is 13.6 billion miles away from Earth, the most distant man-made object. To put that into perspective, that is about 19.5 light hours away from Earth. The nearest star, Proxima Centauri, is 4.24 light years away. We need to figure out better, faster, and more sustainable methods of propulsion if we want to become an interplanetary or even intergalaxy species. Currently, we can make a craft that can reach a top speed of 157,000 miles per hour in space. That craft could reach Proxima Centauri in about 18,000 Earth years. Yikes. Our current propulsion ideas are limited to chemical and plasma propellants, liquid hydrogen and oxidizers like the engines of the space shuttle, nuclear power, and even ideas for nanoparticle propellants. But the most science fiction type idea out there right now is the Alcubierre drive, which is based on Einstein's field equations in general relativity and would allow for faster than speed of light travel by contracting space in front of the craft and expanding it behind it, much like a wormhole is perceived to function. Yet, even though the math checks out, this would require massive amounts of energy, in the realm of the size of the planet Jupiter. Our own physiology would be a factor, with prolonged time in space already showing signs of bone deterioration and a loss in muscle strength and vision problems. Also, the effects of prolonged exposure to solar radiation without the Earth's magnetic field, which shields us from much of it, could prove detrimental. Another factor is that food could be scarce and very hard to have enough stored for prolonged spaceflight. We are currently working on figuring all of these problems out with new ways to recycle, reuse, and produce food in space, making storage more efficient. On the International Space Station, astronauts have been developing methods to produce water through chemical reactions in fuel cells, and also growing vegetables in microgravity. As for the limitations on our bodies themselves, science is looking towards artificial intelligence and robotic spacecraft to help aid the humans who will be living and working in space, and even replace humanity on long-duration missions when they can. With the development of new technology and our improved understanding of science, we are constantly making strides as we proceed into the great unknown. The future of space travel and space exploration has a ton of potential, and the youngest generation in school today, learning about the origins of our time among the stars, will work to further our horizons as they become the leaders of humanity in space. Well, that was the end of Humanity in Space. I hope you guys enjoyed it. That segment that you just watched, if you happen to come in a little bit before or after it had already started and you missed some of it, you can obviously watch this feed after it's over. But that segment will be in full on the Deathwish Coffee Company YouTube page, so all 6 parts will be up there. And you know what? I was even thinking I should make a special playlist on what? Uh-oh.
The hell is that?
I wonder is that the cleaners?
I think so.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna close the door.
All right, we're gonna close the door. But we got we've got well, as Shannon's gonna walk. No, wow, she Mission Impossible the way through there. So yeah, basically, you'll be able to watch all 6 parts. I think I'm gonna make a special playlist on YouTube called Humanity in Space. So you'll be able to watch all 6 parts if you want. I can't believe it turned into 6 parts. I was just saying to Shannon as we were watching that one that I literally made like an hour-and-a-half documentary about humanity in space.
He did.
It was pretty cool. I had a lot of fun doing it, and we'll have a lot more to do in 2020. I do want to mention for anybody just joining the show, all you got to do if you want to win one of these super rare Fuel by Deathcast mugs in front of you is drop a comment in those comments. One lucky comment on Facebook, on Twitch, and on YouTube will win. And there was a lot of questions about, can you buy Fuel by Deathcast mugs? You can't. I actually made these for guests of the show, and that's kind of went to the wayside. And I love to hear that you guys really like this mug. And if you do, the best way to get the ability to buy one is contact customer service. Hit up hey@deathwishcoffee.com.
Hey.
Hey, and tell them that you'd like to buy a Fuel by Deathcast mug, because this is kind of like the prototype mug. What I'd love to do is maybe make a different version or a different color.
One with our faces on.
Ooh, even that.
Ooh.
Yeah. So if you really want a Fuel by Deathcast mug, hit up customer service. Keep hitting up customer service. Let them know, because when you guys let them know, they let us know, and then hopefully that makes
Then we
products
let
happen.
the world know.
It does make products happen.
I know.
In fact, our newest mug, the last mug of 2019, our Krampus Christmas mug,
Which sold
was-
out in 2 days, by the way.
that was from you guys. We asked questions last year, like what kind of mugs, what mug ideas, do you guys want to see? And so many people contacted us and was like, it would be really cool if you guys did something with Krampus. So we did.
So keep doing what you're doing,
Yeah,
people.
So
It
keep.
inspires great product.
It sure does. I do also want to mention real quick, I saw a bunch of awesome comments about science. I'm so glad that you guys liked that segment, because the future of space exploration is amazing. And there's so much more information about everything that I was talking about over on nasa.gov, and also SpaceX and Boeing. You can find out all sorts of other stuff about that as well. I did see one comment that wasn't about science at all. It was over on Twitch from Dreadwolf. You asked about what looked like a specimen jar on the shelf behind us. I love what you guys have eagle-eyed looking at the shelf, because I'm constantly moving stuff around on this shelf and putting new stuff in there and putting old stuff in there. And this is a present actually from Dustin. If you guys remember D-Man. Yep.
There's a lot of weird stuff back there.
It's a little baby octopus. It's dead and in formaldehyde, and I'm weird for having it on my shelf, but it's
I
cool.
don't like it.
She doesn't like it at all. Actually, Dustin didn't like it either, and that's why he gave it to me.
Zombie octopus.
Zombie octopus. They're aliens. Speaking of aliens. I want to take a minute, though, here before we get into the update and the meat of the show tonight. I want to tell you guys about 2020.
A new decade.
New decade. I started here with Fuel by Deathcast and Deathwish Coffee in December of 2016, and
Congrats.
I actually started at Deathwish in February of 2017. And this week, the episode of the podcast is episode 157, and it's technically the first episode of season 4. 4 seasons of the podcast have come out. And when the podcast started, it was everything. The first 30 episodes. You can find them wherever podcasts are found, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever. And you can hear a lot of the segments that we do, like the update and science and all these things. That was at the beginning of the podcast when we used to just do it like that. And then we would do the special interview. And we realized we had 2 full shows worth of content. So we split it. And this was about 2 years ago. And then we split it into Fuel by Death Show, which is what you're watching right now. Yep. And then Fuel by Death Cast, which is the podcast where I get to interview a special guest every week. And then that even became more because we realized, wow, everybody really loves the science segment from the show. So why not make that its own podcast as well? And that comes out every Sunday on all of our podcast networks as well. Within the last year or so, we've done Fueled by Death Show, what you're watching right now in this format. Live on Facebook, and very, very recently, we are now simulcasting on Twitch and on YouTube, which, in my opinion, they're way better. I love all you guys on Facebook. I love everything, that we've gained from Facebook, but Facebook just isn't the best platform for streaming video. Twitch and YouTube is so much better, so I'm so happy that all you guys are watching over there as well. But we really started to assess what you guys like about this show, what we like about this show, and what can be improved. And one of the things that we thought could be improved is really time. We do this show every single week. In fact, I do this show and the podcast and the science segment every single week. And it's pretty much me. I mean, you help with me with this.
I help.
But I mean, I'm the one who's writing and producing and editing and putting all these things out every single week. And it really doesn't leave me a lot of time to ideate and do new things and bring new content and new ideas for you guys. So that's what I want to do in 2020.
Jeff's not leaving. Don't worry.
So we're breaking everything up. and we're going to do a lot of new and amazing stuff with Fueled by Death show and Fueled by Death cast. Let's talk about the show, though, what you guys are watching right now. I love that you guys are tuning in at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, live for an hour. Those of you who sit with us for an entire hour, you're the true MVP, for sure.
Seriously.
But that's a big ask, and we understand that. And it's also a big ask on us. You know, we work a 9-to-5 job. But
8 to 5.
8 to 5 job, yeah. But it's 7:30 right now, you know? This is a long day for us. And we want to be able to produce better and cooler stuff. So this show that you're watching right now is the final show of 2019. It's the final show of
The decade.
And it's also the final Fueled by Death show in this format. When we come back in 2020, we are going to continue doing segments like these, but we're going to break it up. So every single Wednesday, just like today, Shannon and I are going to do an update. We're going to do the Death Wish update. We're going to tell you about new products coming out. We're going to answer your questions about products that just have come out. We're going to give you super secret teases about things that, you know, are way down the pike. And we're going to interact with you live on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitch. But we're going to do it during the day. We're going to start trying this out at 3 p.m. every single Wednesday. That's going to give Shannon and I a little bit more time to get things together, and we're also going to be able to add more elements into that. So we want to do a roast or something crazy like Halloween science experiments.
Or cooking.
We can, and we're going to do that for you guys, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And we're going to be able to involve a lot more Death Wish employees, because right now, literally, Shannon and I are the only ones here. I think the cleaning crew just came in.
Yeah,
but other than that,
out of me.
but other than that, like Shannon and I are the only ones here. So to be able to get like Mike Brown on a Death Wish update to answer your questions, how cool would that be? So that's what we're going to start in 2020, doing just the update and maybe some mug giveaways and some other giveaways, you know, in 2020. To make that happen. But if you can't tune in during the day, don't worry, because they'll all exist just like they normally do on Facebook and on YouTube and on Twitch when it's over. So if you can only tune in at 7 p.m. or whatever, come on over and tune in and catch it right after it's happened, you know? It'll be awesome. The science segment, which you guys love, and it makes me so happy to hear that you guys love all of that as well. That's going to still happen, but we're going to do that as like a premiere party or a watch party on Facebook, and also put it out on YouTube Live and Twitch Live as well. And I'll be interacting in the comments, but those are, you can tell, those are pre-recorded. I'm not doing that live. You know, I put a lot of love into those segments. So I'll be in the comments live, but we'll put those out and we'll all watch it together and we'll all enjoy those types of things. And those will come out as a podcast every single Sunday like they normally do. But live or watch partying, we'll do those every Monday. And then that frees Shannon and I up to ideate a ton of new ideas. Have you guys seen some of these crazy viral trends that have been happening, like on YouTube and stuff like that, like hot ones, where celebrities eat a bunch of hot chicken wings and have to answer questions? Or random ideas like that? We want to do those cooking show ideas, like that kind of thing. We want to
bake a cake live.
I
want to bake a cake live. That's
we
an idea.
totally want to do that. So we're going to do a lot of cool, fun, random crap like that for you guys. And if you like it, we'll keep doing it. And if you don't, well, we're going to do other stuff. Every single Friday, I don't know if you guys know this, we've been going live just on Facebook. During our lunch hour here at noon Eastern Standard Time, we've been doing the match of the week in our Death Wish Ping Pong League. Well, in 2020, we want to do way more of that. I want to do like interviews with the ping pong people who are playing ping pong, and you know, kind of like Sports Center or like wrestling, you know, like behind the scenes kind of stuff. The ideas are endless. You guys really love what we do here, and that really fuels us to want to create more stuff. So we're not going away. We're just trying out some new stuff. And I've seen, as I'm talking about this, so many new ideas come from you guys too. Like we should go on the road and do lives on the road, or we should,
man.
we should like try out, like people were excited about cooking shows or whatever. Like somebody just commented DWC vodka, and like, why don't we go to Albany Distilling and do a live from there? And like, why not? We'll be able to do so many other things.
And get more of the team involved.
Get
Like
more
I
of the
said,
team involved.
We love interacting with you guys and getting more people in. And we
Right.
have Sophia, a new team member, and as new team members join, we can get you guys introduced them sooner.
Yeah, we're going to do new contests, new giveaways, all that kind of stuff. Change is scary, but change is awesome. And I always, creating stuff like this, sometimes I get into a rut, especially doing 3 shows a week, every single week. Sometimes, I've said this to you before, sometimes, it's just like I feel like I'm only treading water, like I get everything done and then I'm immediately doing something else, and I want to be able to do more for you guys. I want to give you guys
Provide more value to you
Yeah.
guys.
So that's the show. The podcast is remaining the same. Podcast is coming out every single Thursday, just like it does. Special interview with a special guest every single week, talking about what they do, why they do it, and asking the question, what fuels you? Plus, every Sunday is going to be the Science Mini Episode podcast as well. But I've got some new ideas for the podcast as well. We're going to try ideas like going to different places that you have to experience before you die in a segment called
Before you die.
Before You Die. We're also going to do a segment called Fueled by Death, where I'm going to talk to like daredevils and people who are doing the most insane things because they're literally fueled by death. And those are going to be exciting things that we're going to develop in 2020. So, because this is the last episode in this format and also the last episode of the year, I didn't want to leave you without knowing about the podcast. We're not going to do the show next Wednesday or the Wednesday after. Again, Christmas and New Year's. Sorry, we got stuff to do. So do you guys. But the podcast, the one that comes out every Thursday, that's still going to come out every Thursday. So please, 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 please subscribe to Fueled by Deathcast wherever you listen. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Music, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, wherever that is. Or Deathwish Coffee, YouTube, where you'll be able to find video clips as well. But moving forward, the full podcast will only be available in podcast format. And the next 3 weeks are some of the most exciting. I've been so excited to release
He
these
has been very
episodes.
excited.
So tomorrow, starting tomorrow, season 4, episode 1, episode 157 of the podcast. It's not one. I'm kicking off season 4 with a bang because it's
guests.
not one guest. It's 2 guests from a little band that you might know. I don't know if you do. If you're a hard rock fan, you probably know the band Breaking Benjamin. They've been around for quite some time. And the guy on the far left, Sean Foist, and the guy on the far right in this picture, Aaron Brock, both of them are on tomorrow's podcast. They came to town on their tour in 2019 when they were touring with Chevelle, and I got to sit with Sean in this studio and talk about being in the band and how he started drumming and all of that, which was amazing. And then later, I got to go backstage before Breaking Ben went on the stage to play and talk with Aaron about what it's like to tour the world with Breaking Ben and write music, this awesome music, and just what fuels him to keep kicking ass. And it was absolutely amazing. And then we got to see the show that night. You actually weren't there, were you?
No, I couldn't go that night for some reason. I
It was
forget.
an amazing show. It was an amazing show. And it was so great talking with Breaking Benjamin. So that is tomorrow. Double guest
Yes.
out tomorrow with Breaking Benjamin. Then the next week, which happens to be Christmas week, on Thursday the 26th, I've got somebody I've always wanted to talk to. I can't believe I got him on the show, and we talked about so much. Bob Bergen, who you might know as the voice of a very famous pig.
Ba-dee.
That's really good. That was really good.
Thanks.
Bob Bergen has been voicing Porky Pig since the 80s. He is an incredible voice actor. He's even done Luke Skywalker in some Star Wars cartoons. But
dang.
he's done so many characters, and we talk about his career. We talk about what it's like to be a voice actor. He even breaks down the Porky voice for me. He was in Gremlins.
Oh yeah, you did mention that.
Yeah, he gives me some behind-the-scenes stories of Gremlins, which is a Christmas movie, by the way. So incredible, and that's next week, my interview with Bob Bergen. And then to kick off the new year, Season 4, Episode 3, any podcast fans out there, if you've ever heard of the Last Podcast Network or maybe Last Podcast on the Left or Page 7, I've got Jackie Zabrowski. Jackie Zabrowski on the left there. She is an incredible comedian and podcaster who has been doing it for a very long time now. In fact, she and her buddies and her brother actually started a sketch comedy group called Murder Fist. And this was like in the early-ish days of YouTube, where they did a bunch of different sketch comedy. In fact, I'm sure you've seen probably some of their videos. And Last Podcast Network is one of the biggest podcast networks out there. Last Podcast on the Left is a huge, huge podcast with her brother, Henry Zabrowski, who is also a movie star. He was in the frickin' Wolf of Wall Street. But they also have incredible podcasts on that network, including Jackie's podcast, Page 7, and the Pete and Pete podcast from Nickelodeon's Pete and Pete, and also the Mystery Science Theater podcast, Movies with the Mads. It's absolutely incredible. So you're definitely going to want to tune in for that. It was so much fun to talk to Jackie. She is her to a T. She is unapologetic about being her, and that is amazing.
That is awesome.
It is amazing. So those are the next 3 episodes that are coming out, and I have a lot planned for 2020. I can't wait to get into it.
It's gonna be a great year.
It's going to be a great year. We're doing some change. We're changing it up. We're doing some stuff. But you guys are coming with us, and we can't thank you enough for all your support. So
Yeah, you're on this ride with us.
you are on this ride with us. We'll announce the winners at the end. I'm gonna get these out of the way because I do want to talk about what's coming out tomorrow.
Yeesh. Ooh, buddy.
Now, I know they look small, but these are chocolate bars. These are Death Wish chocolate bars. These are Death Wish chocolate bars made by Death Wish Coffee and Ethereal Confections, who pairs the chocolate beans to our coffee beans.
So good.
They're so good. Now, we've done these before. We've done them in a few varieties. These are coming out separately or in a 3-pack. And it's the perfect last-minute stocking stuffer gift for you guys to get tomorrow. Because if you order it tomorrow,
By 3 p.m. Eastern.
if you order it by 3 p.m. Eastern tomorrow, you have an okay chance of getting them by Christmas. But I definitely recommend use the discount code Mother of Content for 12% off and maybe up the shipping a little bit just to make sure that you get it in time. But if you got these in your stocking, they're amazing. And why are they amazing? Please, Shannon, tell us about these.
Where do we start?
Well, let's
with-
start with the OG.
So, if you didn't have this chocolate bar last year, let me tell you, you need to try it. So all of our chocolate bars are dark chocolate, made with 64% cacao. So it's pretty dark, but not too dark where it's kind of bitter. Super smooth taste, made with our coffee. So like Jess said, the Ethereal went and they tried our coffee with a bunch of different chocolates to see exactly what flavor profile would be the best tasting. And they hit the nail on the damn head. And on the back of this chocolate bar is crushed whole bean coffee and cocoa nibs to give it an extra little crunch. So it is so unbelievably good. I love it absolutely so much. And I could eat a whole thing right now, but I'm not going to.
I did see a question. What's the caffeine content on these? I'm not exactly sure.
It's small.
It's small, but I
But
mean,
it's not-
don't eat them at night. I literally ate an entire one of those. The first time we ever came out with them, I ate an entire one of them at like 9 p.m., and I was up till 3.
Oh, jeez.
It was like a cup of coffee.
We have a question on YouTube from Stacy about what about us milk chocolate lovers? I'm a huge milk chocolate person. I will pick milk chocolate over dark chocolate any day. I still absolutely love the taste of these. I don't think that it's too dark, like I was saying. It doesn't taste bitter. It doesn't taste too dark for me, and I'm a big milk chocolate fan. So, just to give you a reference.
Yeah.
Next bar.
Let's do that one.
This one is very timely and festive. Peppermint mocha chocolate. So same dark chocolate made with Death Wish coffee. The only difference with this is instead of cocoa nibs and crushed whole bean coffee on the back, you get crushed candy canes.
Crushed candy canes? What?
It is so good. I was munching on one of these earlier, and I was very, very happy with life.
So that's really great, too. But my favorite.
This one is cookies and cream.
Cookies and cream. Now, not real cream, because these are
Gluten-free and vegan.
gluten-free and vegan.
But they're made with crushed Oreos, essentially.
Because Oreos are vegan.
They are vegan. Fun fact. Eric Donovan eats them all the time.
He does.
So instead of...
No, he eats Oreos, not vegans.
That was a dad joke.
Yep.
Anyway, so our cookies and cream bar has crushed cookies, Oreo cookies on the back, essentially. All three of these bars are gluten-free and vegan. They're all made with Death Wish coffee chocolate, all dark chocolate. Oh, my goodness. We don't have the mug cam set up to see a close-up of these. We should have put a photo in.
Yeah, I should have. Sorry about that. I did not.
But here's all three lined up together. And like Jeff said, you can get these as a 3-pack tomorrow, so a variety pack. Or if you decide, hey, I want all peppermint mocha, you can get just peppermint mocha in a 3-pack. Or if you just want cookies and cream, or you just want the OG, you'll have that option too. Or you can just get single bars too. So if you want to get, 3 OG bars, but you want to try peppermint mocha, that's an option as well. The options are endless.
Definitely got to say, if you guys want these before Christmas, order them before 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow. And if you got that extra money and you want to use that discount code, maybe up the shipping to just because we're getting down to that wire.
Right.
Obviously USPS is inundated. Our fulfillment centers are inundated. I know you guys have been dealing with, longer delivery times, and that 'tis the season. 'Tis the season.
Right.
Oh, I love it. Discounted Jeff still work. It sure does. We just
No, it doesn't.
It sure does. But yeah, so that's coming out tomorrow. And not only do you want to order that tomorrow, okay? Because what a great Christmas present. What a great holiday present. What a great present just for yourself. Screw the holidays. Just get them for yourself, But if you place any order tomorrow. I don't care if you order coffee or a shirt or our chocolate or the new awesome Letterman jacket we just came out with. Whatever it is, you're going to get for free
New comic book.
our brand new comic book. Death Wish Coffee presents Odin Force number 3, The Riddle of the Reaper. I am so excited for you guys to get this book. It is amazing. Written by the legendary Ron Mars. Ron Mars is most widely known for creating one of the Green Lanterns, but he's also written for DC and Marvel. And it is drawn by Rick Leonardi, who is an incredible artist, worked on such, superhero titles. I don't know if you've ever heard of Spider-Man or the X-Men. Nah. Yeah. And incredible fully painted cover by artist Joe Jusko. This will be available for free with every single purchase you make on the site on deathwishcoffee.com tomorrow. And I see these comments already coming up. If you are a coffee subscriber, this will appear in your next coffee subscription. And the greatest thing about this is if you are just new to the company and you're like, what? Issue 3? Man, I really wish you guys, how do I get my hands on issue 1 and 2? Well, when we make these, they're very limited. We're not a comic book company, we make a bunch of them so you guys can get them for free, but it's a one and done type of thing. So if you don't have issue 1 and 2, they're kind of hard to find. But thankfully, thanks to very hard work that Shannon put in, we worked with our development team, and now we're going to have a comic book landing page on deathwishcoffee.com. I believe it's going to be deathwishcoffee.com/comics.
It's not live yet, so don't go there.
Yeah, we're going to make a post about it so you'll know it. And it's going to have digitally issues 1 and 2. So if you missed those, you'll be able to download the issues and be able to read them and have them for your own. You obviously won't be able to have a physical copy, but at least you'll be able to follow along with the story,
Right.
which is so awesome. If you guys don't know, basically what we did is after winning the Super Bowl commercial and after we did that commercial, we started talking about making a comic book and how the hell are we going to make a cool comic book. We were like, what would be a really cool idea is in that commercial, you see the Vikings rowing through a storm and going over a waterfall. What if we followed them after that? And that's issue 1. They go over the waterfall, and then they go on adventures. And in issue 2, it's a whole brand new adventure with a special guest star, Zakk Wylde. And then issue 3, literally they meet Death himself. And it is a doozy. It's so crazy. I can't wait for you guys to see this, to get this issue and to read it. I think it's the best thing Ron's done. I really do.
It's going to be awesome.
It's so awesome. And that's free with every single purchase on deathwishcoffee.com tomorrow. Now, this is the last episode of
The decade. I was late. I was like, wait a minute.
It's the last episode of the decade, so we're not going to be around to give you guys an update up until the end of the year. But any of you who know that what we try to do every year, what we've done in the last couple years, is at the very end of the year, we do a clearance sale, and it's coming back.
It's coming.
We're bringing the clearance sale back. So look for it right around New Year's. We're going to do some really awesome deals on some merchandise that we've been sitting on all year long. And like Crazy Eddie's car dealership, it's all going to go. Yeah, like we got to get it out of here. So we're going to do some crazy deals on some stuff. So definitely
Big summer blowout.
after the holidays, after, you get your Christmas money or your Hanukkah money, save a little bit of it, because at the end of the year, we're going to have a really awesome sale, and it'll be really awesome.
Yay!
So tomorrow, one more time, Death Wish chocolate in 3 varieties. Buy them in a 3-pack. Buy them separately.
Eat them all.
Eat them all. And a free frickin' comic book. What other company do you guys follow that makes comics for you guys? Really? Really? You saw your name in it, right?
I did. My name's in it.
Right there.
All of our
good.
names are in it. Death Wish Coffee Employees. And since I wasn't here for the first one or second one, it's in this one. So.
I did see a comment, is Zakk in it? No, he's not, but he's on the back cover because we freaking love Zakk Wylde. So, of course, Zakk was in issue 2 as a character, but now they're on a new adventure. And we're working right now on issue 4, which is going to come out in 2020. I can't wait for that as well. So thank you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for going on this journey with us. We're, like I said, when we come back in 2020, this show is going to be different. It's going to be in smaller, digestible chunks all throughout the week. But every single Wednesday, you'll be able to still tune in for the update. It'll just be in the afternoon, Eastern Standard Time. But you'll still be able to watch it now if this is the only time you can watch stuff. So you'll be able to keep up with what we're doing, and all that kind of stuff. So thank you guys so much. Don't forget, tune into the podcast tomorrow, wherever podcasts are found, with my interview with 2 of the members of Breaking Benjamin. I hope you guys have a wonderful holiday season and a very happy New Year. You're right.
Jeff!
We do need to announce a YouTube winner who I picked just a minute ago. I did. So in those comments on Twitch and on Facebook, we will announce the winners in those comments as soon as we sign off. But we're going to announce that winner in YouTube right now. That winner is Bernadette Riley. Bernadette Riley, you are the YouTube winner of a signed Fuel by Deathcast mug, Facebook and Twitch. Hang tight. We're going to get there. And love you guys so much. We will see you in the new year, in the new decade.
Yay, new decade.
Goodbye.
Bye. Happy holidays.